Hi everyone, welcome to our October episode. Hope you had a great summer and you're into the fall season and ready to go. And we have a lot to talk about for the month of October. We're going to start out with all the events that we've got going on at the IGSI. And we also have a hybrid event this month as well. We'll talk about that. And we talk a lot about some of the Irish festivals throughout the year in North America, but we very seldom talk about the Irish festivals that go on in Ireland. So we're going to touch on a few of those festivals, especially the Halloween festivals. Those are certainly big events. We'll get into that in just a minute. But let's first start out with what we've got going on in the month of October. Our Irish Saturday for the month of October will be held on October 12th. So stop on by the Hoffman Research Library, which is located at the Minnesota Genealogy Center in Mendota Heights, Minnesota. Here's an opportunity to get some of your Irish research questions answered. The Minnesota Genealogy Center is located at 1385 Mendota Heights Road, Suite 100. You can also stop by the library during regular business hours. And to find out more about the library and hours of operations, go to the website at mngs.org. And our October monthly webinar will feature genealogist Jay Fonkert. The title of Jay's program is called Genealogy Detective Skills, Following Clues from the Census. The date for this event is October 19th. Once again, this will be a hybrid event. So if you're in or around Minnesota and would like to attend the live event in person, you can register for that. The event will be held at the Minnesota Genealogy Center at 1385 Mendota Heights Road, Suite 100 in Mendota Heights. Registration for the live event is limited to 40 people. Tours of the research library and Irish collection will be offered following the program and during the lunch and social time. If you're not around Minnesota, no problem. There is no limit to the number of virtual attendees. Jay will be talking about understanding and researching census records, which considers to be the bread and butter of genealogical research. A census enumeration anchors your ancestors in a time and place, but it can also offer clues to family migrations and family dynamics. It can also alert you to blended families, as well as giving you clues to migration routes and nearby relatives. Jay will also discuss census errors and double enumerations. He will also help you make sense of pre-1850 census records. You can register on the IGSI website at irishgenealogical.org. Again, the date is October 19th. Well, as we mentioned at the top of the program, we mentioned a lot about the Irish festivals that go on here in the U.S. and Canada, but we very seldom mention about the Irish festivals that go on in Ireland. Well, there's actually several festivals that go on throughout the island and throughout the year, and they're all highlighted by the Halloween festivals that go on at the end of October. This year, certainly no exception. Irish folklore suggests that Halloween can be traced to the ancient Celtic tradition of Samhain, which marks the end of the harvest season and the start of the new year. Tradition says that the Samhain celebration started on the Hill of Ward, and that is where the Puka Festival is held each year. Recently, I spoke with Dr. Kelly Fitzgerald. Now, she's the head of the School of Irish and Celtic Studies and Folklore at University College Dublin. And she explained the meaning behind these Samhain festivals, like the Puka Festival, and what they all mean and what we can get out of it.
And then when you look at it in Irish traditions, this is really the beginning of that kind of season. If you look into other festivals in Ireland, particularly around Christmas, the Christmas Mummers, or on St. Stephen's Day, the Ramboys, all of that has that kind of sense of disguise and mumming. And as we know ourselves, you put yourself in a disguise, you get you make the ordinary extraordinary, you're somebody else for the day, and it really kind of adds to what you can get up to just to make that day that bit more special. But the Puka Festival is a real festival for the 21st century. And in a way, it has really taken what is core in Irish tradition and has really put together events and occasions to come together, to have other people come in and celebrate and engage with this. Halloween is a really wonderful time because it's really about community. If we think about Christmas, Christmas is very much about the family coming together in the home, and it's really important. There's something about the end of October, and the weather could be horrible. It could be lashing rain, but that said, you almost see it as your last chance to be outdoors, experience what you can, have a bit of fun with that. And the Puka Festival has kind of taken some really based it in areas that have really long traditions of recognizing the importance of Samhain, what can happen at this time of the year. It's just a magical time of year. This sense of divination is a part of this time of year. And I think for some Americans who haven't been to Ireland before, you don't realize how far north Ireland is. So when the nights are coming in the winter, they come in really like early, right? Sunlight is not very strong. And that said, coming here in the summer, what people love as well is how bright and long the days are as well, so that you get a real sense that the year is in two halves, and the dark half is definitely different from the lighter half, but there's a lot to get out of that.
Plan on being in Ireland at the end of October? Well, here's what you can find. And this festival will be held from October 31st to November 3rd at Trim Castle near Ep4 at County Meath. You know, the author of the Gothic horror novel Dracula was Bram Stoker. He wrote it in 1897. But did you know Bram Stoker was Irish, born and raised in Dublin, and went to school at Trinity College? And now they celebrate his life each year at the Bram Stoker Festival in Dublin at the end of October. It is considered one of Dublin's largest art festivals, and they have big plans for this year. And it will be held on October 25th to 28th. Another festival, this one up in Derry, called Derry Halloween, is billed as a festival like no other. This 4-day event includes street celebrations of all things spooky. This is highlighted by Derry Halloween's Holiday Parade as it moves through the streets on Halloween night. They describe the parade as an explosion of color and creativity. The performers are dressed in elaborate costumes, which include fire-breathing dragons to animated caricatures. It is then followed by a fireworks display. The festival will be held from October 28th to the 31st. Find out more at the website derryhalloween.com.
Welcome back to the Irish History Minute with the Irish Genealogical Society International. I'm your host, Janelle. Let's dive right into today's topic, the Rebellion of 1798 and its end at the Battle of Vinegar Hill. This battle took place on the 21st of June, 1798, between Irish nationalists, known as the Society of United Irishmen, and the British military. As you may already know, the British by the late 1700s had control over Ireland, and the United Irishmen organized in 1791 as a response to this oppression, inspired in part by the American and French revolutions. While Irish Catholics were typically most persecuted under British rule, United Irishmen included Irish from any religion who supported a free Ireland, which was unusual among various rebellion efforts. And there were many rebellion efforts during British rule of Ireland, over 20 between the 1600s and the Easter Rising in 1916, and those are just the major ones. Unfortunately, British laws aimed at restricting rebellious talk drove the United Irishmen underground, which made them more radicalized and led to an alliance between them and a more militant group, the Defenders. Although both of these groups were technically meant for men, there were also women involved who aided the efforts. The British had spies within the United Irishmen and learned of plans for an uprising in 1798, so they declared martial law and had active militia all over Ireland. In County Wexford, this didn't go over very well, and a force of United Irishmen openly rebelled, leading to multiple skirmishes. The United Irishmen expected French reinforcements, but by the time of the Battle of Vinegar Hill on June 21st, the French had not arrived and the Irish were losing. The actual battle took place not just on the hill, but also in the nearby town of Enniscorthy. Eventually, the British simply had more forces and more firepower, and although large numbers of Irish were able to escape over a bridge and avoid punishment, which included death for many of those caught, it still meant the end of this particular Irish rebellion. In 1804, transported Irish rebels rose up in Australia as well and named the place where the rebellion began Vinegar Hill after the site in Ireland, although their rebellion also failed. These rebellions had dire consequences for many of those involved. However, they kept the Irish focused on their desire for home rule, which eventually came. That's it for today's Irish History Minute. If you liked this installment, don't forget to follow us at @IrishGensi.
Well, that is our episode for this month. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you've learned a lot. I certainly have learned a lot about a lot of the festivals going on in Ireland. And I want to thank Dr. Kelly Fitzgerald, the folks at the Puka Festival and Derry Halloween. Also want to thank Fáilte Ireland for the pictures and video, SK at Harris Public Relations in Dublin, and Janelle for her Irish History Minute. I want to thank you as well for sitting in and watching our episode for this month. And until next month, I hope you have a wonderful Halloween. Are you a member of the IGSI? You're not, but you want to join? Here's all you have to do. Head to the website at irishgenealogical.org. There you'll find the join link on the left side of the page, and that's where you can sign up and become a member. You can also register for any of the webinars this year on the website as well. And as a member, you can also see past webinars from the previous year. And besides enjoying all the members' benefits, you can always sign in and go over many of the programs and services that the IGSI has to offer. And that would include viewing past webinars, surname interests, the e-newsletter. Would you like to be a volunteer at the IGSI? Here's all you have to do. Get on the website at irishgenealogical.org and scroll down to the volunteer link. There you can see all the options that are available to you. That would include helping out with the Irish Fest in Minnesota, or any of the social and educational programs, or you could even help out with the social media platforms and podcasts, or the SEPS magazine and Genealogist newsletter. Just click on the Volunteer Now link and sign up. For more information about the Irish Genealogical Society International, go to the website at irishgenealogical.org. And for questions regarding the podcast, send an email to podcast@irishgenealogical.org.